Welcome everyone and thank you for joining us today to the channel Rare Penny Empire as we take a fascinating journey into the incredible story of a small yet powerful piece of United States history, the 2003 Liberty Dime, a coin that at first glance appears to be just another ordinary 10-cent piece in circulation but in reality has shocked the numismatic world by being valued at an astonishing $32 million, a number that seems impossible when compared to its humble face value of only 10 cents, and yet this unimaginable worth has become a reality because of its unique errors, minting mistakes, and mysterious details that have elevated it from an everyday coin into a legendary rarity that collectors dream of finding in their pockets or old collections. So let's dive deep into the story of how such a small piece of copper and nickel alloy can be worth more than luxury mansions, high-end sports cars, or even some entire businesses, and why people continue to be captivated by the hidden treasures of United States coinage. The 2003 dime is part of the long-standing Roosevelt dime series which replaced the Mercury dime in 1946 after the passing of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, and these dimes were minted to honor him, with the obverse of the coin showing his left-facing profile and the reverse depicting a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. But what sets the 2003 dime apart is not the design itself, which is common to all Roosevelt dimes, rather it is the errors, the mint mark details, and the rare anomalies produced at the Philadelphia Mint that year which make it so extraordinary and incredibly valuable, because coin errors are often unpredictable results of the minting process, and when a rare combination of errors appears on a single coin, it can transform that coin from a few cents in change to millions of dollars in value, as collectors and investors will pay any price to own something so unique. The story behind this dime's insane valuation revolves around multiple aspects, such as the possibility of a double die error on the obverse where Liberty and the date 2003 may show signs of doubling under magnification, off-center strikes where the design elements are not perfectly aligned with the coin's planchette, clipped planches where part of the coin is missing due to improper cutting of the blanks, die cracks that show raised lines across the surface caused by worn dies, and most significantly, the rare mint mark error involving the letter P for Philadelphia, which may appear misplaced, faint, or even doubled, making the coin instantly recognizable as a true error rarity. And while such errors are usually discarded or go unnoticed, in extremely rare cases a few escape into circulation where keen-eyed collectors or even unsuspecting individuals stumble upon them years later. And when word spreads that such an example exists, the bidding wars begin in auction houses and the prices skyrocket beyond imagination. The value of $32 million attached to this 2003 Liberty dime is not just about its metal content or its normal design. It is a reflection of rarity, demand, and the passion of collectors who compete fiercely to own the rarest coin specimens. And this is what makes numismatics such an exciting field, because the smallest details that most people overlook can make all the difference between a coin worth cents and a coin worth millions, and this is also why experts recommend that anyone with old coins at home, whether inherited from grandparents or discovered in jars of change, should carefully inspect them under magnification and compare them with guides to identify potential errors or varieties, because history has shown that life-changing finds are still possible. When we talk about errors that add astronomical value to coins, it is important to understand that not every coin with a small scratch or mark is valuable. The true value comes from minting errors created during the official striking process, errors like double dies where the coin design is struck twice misaligned, broad strikes where the coin expands beyond its normal size, transitional errors where the wrong metal composition is used, or repunched mint marks where the letter indicating the mint of origin is accidentally punched more than once, and each of these categories has the potential to transform a simple coin into a $1 million rarity if the right conditions align, as happened with the 2003 dime. Stories like this inspire countless treasure hunters and collectors to examine their change closely, because the idea of finding a dime that is worth more than entire fortunes is incredibly motivating, and history is filled with such examples like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, the 1943 copper penny, or the 1975 no-S proof dime, all of which reached millions at auctions because of their rarity and errors. And now the 2003 Liberty dime has joined this elite club of extraordinary coins whose values transcend their face denomination. This dime's worth of $32 million is also a lesson in how the numismatic market works, because value is determined by rarity and demand, and when only one or two examples of a certain error coin are known to exist, collectors will go to any lengths to secure them, sometimes even seeing the coins as investments that will only grow in value with time, and in the case of the 2003p dime, its fame has spread so widely that it is now recognized not just among collectors but even in mainstream media, further fueling its allure. Imagine for a moment finding a dime in your change that looks slightly different. Maybe the mint mark is misplaced or the design looks doubled, and upon closer inspection it turns out to be one of these rare error coins. The thrill of discovery and the knowledge that something so small could change your financial future is exactly what makes the world of coins so fascinating, and why millions of people remain passionate about it. Because unlike most collectibles, coins can still be found in circulation, hidden among everyday transactions, waiting for the right eyes to spot them. The importance of the mint mark P on the 2003 dime cannot be overstated because mint marks tell us where a coin was produced, and while most Philadelphia coins are common, a mistake in the mint mark such as doubling, misplacement, or omission instantly transforms the coin into a rarity, and this is precisely the type of error that has driven the insane valuation of this dime, coupled with possible striking anomalies that give it an unmistakable appearance unique to its mintage year. Collectors are willing to pay $32 million not just for the metal and design but for the history, the uniqueness, the chance to own a piece of minting mystery that no one else in the world can claim, and this exclusivity is what creates such astronomical prices in the auction market. For those who wonder why anyone would spend so much money on a dime, the answer lies in the psychology of collecting, the passion for rarity, and the prestige of owning something that no one else has, and this is the same reason why art collectors pay hundreds of millions for paintings, or car enthusiasts pay millions for rare vintage automobiles, because rarity combined with desire creates value beyond logic. The 2003p Liberty dime is a modern marvel in numismatics because unlike most ultra-valuable coins that date back centuries, this one is from the 21st century. Proving that even in recent years extraordinary rarities can still emerge, and it reminds us that every coin in our pocket has the potential to hold secrets of immense worth. So the next time you come across a dime, especially one from 2003 with the P mint mark, take a closer look because you never know, you might just be holding a piece of history that could change your life forever. And whether you are a seasoned collector or a curious beginner, the story of this $32 million dime proves that the world of coins is full of wonder, surprises, and endless possibilities. And with every new discovery we are reminded that value is not always about size or material. Sometimes the smallest objects carry the greatest worth, and that is exactly what makes the journey of coin collecting so magical and rewarding. Dear viewers and coin enthusiasts, to another exciting journey into the world of rare coins and hidden treasures where a simple piece of change can transform into a life-changing fortune. And today we are going to dive into one of the most fascinating and unbelievable stories in modern numismatics that revolves around the 2005 Liberty dime from the United States of America, a coin with a face value of just 10 cents that most people would simply spend at a store without giving it a second thought. But because of its unique errors, minting mistakes, and rare characteristics, this particular dime has been reported to hold a jaw-dropping value of $29 million in the collector's market, which is a staggering amount considering its humble origins and face value of only $0.1. And this is exactly what makes coin collecting such a thrilling adventure, because behind every coin there is a story, history, and possibility that could change everything. So let us explore in great detail the background, history, and the incredible reasons why a dime minted in 2005 at the Denver Mint has reached such astronomical levels of worth, and why collectors treasure it like a piece of art or even like a rare diamond. And to fully understand the magnitude of this coin's value, we need to look at the world of mint errors and what makes them so special, because mint errors are not just random imperfections but rather unique accidents in the coin-making process that create coins unlike any other, making them stand out in a sea of billions of regular issues and giving them extreme rarity. And when rarity combines with demand, it creates value that can skyrocket beyond imagination. And the 2005 Liberty dime is a perfect example of that, because somewhere in the minting process something unusual happened, a die mistake or a misplaced mint mark or even a planchette error that resulted in a coin that defied the norm and became a one-of-a-kind rarity. And such coins are known as error coins, and they have long fascinated collectors because they represent mistakes that were never meant to exist but somehow slipped through the tight controls of the United States Mint and ended up in circulation only to later become prized possessions for those lucky enough to discover them. And it is important to realize that the Denver Mint, marked with a D mint mark, is one of the primary production facilities of the U.S. Mint and has a long history of producing billions of coins each year, but among those billions sometimes just one or two coins come out with a flaw that instantly sets them apart, and the 2005 D dime we are discussing today is exactly such a miracle coin, and its value comes from several factors, including its extremely rare mint mark anomaly, its striking error that makes it visibly different from regular issues, and the fact that it has been authenticated and recognized by expert grading services as one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered. And to appreciate this more, we can think about how error coins gain fame, such as the 1955 double-die penny, or the 1937 three-legged buffalo nickel, or the 1943 copper penny, all of which became legendary due to errors that collectors could see and verify. And in the same way, the 2005 D dime gained attention because its mint mark error made it an instant standout. But what makes this coin worth $29 million and not just a few thousand or tens of thousands like most error coins is the sheer uniqueness and rarity of its mistake, because in the entire production line there might have been just one coin like this, which means there is no other coin on earth exactly like it, making it a once-in-a-lifetime find for a lucky collector or investor. And when such exclusivity meets the passion of wealthy collectors, the bidding wars can drive the value to unimaginable heights, just as with rare art pieces or ancient artifacts, where scarcity and story matter more than the material itself. And beyond the error itself, the 2005 D Liberty dime is also historically significant because the dime as a denomination has always carried symbolic value in the United States, featuring the image of President Franklin D. Roosevelt since 1946 and symbolizing not only American coinage but also the story of the March of Dimes campaign, which was tied to the fight against polio and the preservation of public health. And when we consider all of these elements together, we see how a coin minted with a small face value of 10 cents can rise to the monumental level of $29 million in worth. But this is not just about numbers, it is about the thrill of discovery and the possibility that right now in your pocket change there could be an unnoticed error coin waiting to be discovered, because error coins are not always recognized immediately, and many times people spend them without realizing their true value, only for someone else to later notice the unusual detail and realize they are holding a fortune. And this is why coin collecting is not just a hobby but a potential treasure hunt, where patience, attention to detail and knowledge can lead to extraordinary rewards. And in the case of the 2005 D dime, the error could have been related to a misplaced D mint mark, or a double die strike, or even a wrong planchette error where the dime was struck on metal meant for another denomination like a penny or a nickel. And such anomalies create visual differences that experienced collectors can spot, and when professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC authenticate and certify these coins, the value multiplies because certification removes doubt and confirms authenticity. And this is critical because the world of rare coins is full of both genuine treasures and counterfeits. But once a coin like the 2005 D Liberty dime is certified as genuine, its value skyrockets as wealthy investors and collectors compete to add it to their collections, and the sheer headline of a dime worth $29 million captures global attention because it represents the incredible contrast between face value and collector value, a difference so vast that it almost sounds unbelievable. Yet it is true that in the world of collectibles, the story, rarity and demand can elevate an ordinary object into a priceless treasure. And when people hear about such stories, they're inspired to look through their own pocket change, piggy banks and old coin jars, searching for that one error coin that could change their lives forever. And the 2005 D dime story is a reminder that in the smallest things there can be the greatest surprises, and it teaches us the importance of preserving coins, carefully checking their details and appreciating the artistry and complexity of minting, because every coin carries the possibility of being different, and difference is what creates value in the collector's market. And imagine for a moment the person who first discovered the 2005 D Liberty dime with its mint mark error. Perhaps they were simply going through spare change and noticed something unusual about the coin, or perhaps they were a collector carefully analyzing coins under a magnifying glass. But in that moment of discovery they unlocked a fortune, because what others would dismiss as a regular dime they recognized as something special. And this recognition, combined with proper certification and the attention of collectors, turned an ordinary coin into a multi-million-dollar rarity. And this is why knowledge is power in coin collecting, because the more you know about minting errors, varieties, and historical significance, the more likely you are to identify coins of great value. And collectors often study known varieties like double dies, repunched mint marks, broad strikes, off centers, and transitional errors to train their eyes for spotting anomalies. And the 2005 D dime fits into this world as a shining example of how a single error can change everything. And as the story of this coin spreads, It fuels the passion of new collectors who want to explore this fascinating hobby and dream of finding their own hidden treasure. And what makes this story even more compelling is that unlike ancient coins or rare gold coins, this is a modern dime from the year 2005, meaning it could have easily been in circulation recently, making the dream of discovery feel real and achievable for anyone. And that is what inspires so many people to start searching through their coins with a sense of excitement and curiosity, because who knows what hidden gems may still be out there waiting to be found. And when we look at the broader picture, we realize that coins like the 2005 Liberty dime are not just pieces of money but symbols of history, luck, rarity, and human fascination with the unusual and rare. And this is why auctions of such coins draw global attention as collectors from around the world bid to own a piece of history. And it is not just about owning a coin, it is about owning a story that can be told for generations and passed down as a legacy. And when you think about it, $29 million is not just the price of a coin, it is the price of history, rarity, uniqueness, and the passion of collectors colliding together to create something unforgettable. And so, dear viewers, as we conclude this exploration of the 2005 Liberty dime worth an astounding $29 million, let us remember that every coin has a story, and sometimes those stories are so powerful that they transform a small piece of metal into a priceless treasure. And perhaps the next time you check your change, you will look a little more closely, because the next multi-million-dollar coin could be in your hands right now, waiting to be discovered. And that possibility is what makes the world of coin collecting so endlessly fascinating and rewarding. Here's to another fascinating video where we dive deep into the mysterious and astonishing world of rare coins. And today we are going to talk about one of the most unbelievable discoveries in modern numismatic history, the 2007 Liberty USA dime, a coin that has shocked collectors, experts, historians, and even the general public because of its mind-blowing worth of $34 million. An amount so staggering that it completely dwarfs its tiny face value of just 10 cents, and the story behind this coin is not just about its age, its shine, or its circulation, but about the rare combination of errors, mistakes, mint mark anomalies, and historical circumstances that together turned an ordinary dime into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. So sit back, stay tuned, and get ready to be amazed as we unravel the secrets of how such a common piece of pocket change could rise to the status of one of the most valuable coins ever known in the United States and perhaps even the world. Because when we talk about the 2007 Liberty dime, we are not just talking about any random coin. We are talking about a symbol of rarity, mystery, and numismatic fortune, a coin that has been sought after by top collectors and auction houses, and one that has captivated the imaginations of thousands of coin enthusiasts across the globe who dream of one day stumbling upon such a piece in their own loose change. So let us go step by step into the history, the reasons, and the exact details of why this dime is worth millions of dollars and how such value even becomes possible in the first place, beginning with the fact that the 2007 Liberty dime is a coin minted in Philadelphia, which in itself is not unusual since the Philadelphia Mint produces millions upon millions of dimes every single year. But what makes this particular coin so special is that during its production something highly unusual occurred. Whether it was a misalignment of dies, an incorrect planchet being fed into the press, a misplaced mint mark, or a striking anomaly, whatever the exact cause may have been, the result was a dime that does not fully conform to the strict specifications of the United States Mint. And when such deviations occur and go unnoticed, they sometimes slip through the quality control system and enter circulation. But once discovered, they can become incredibly valuable, especially if the error is unique, dramatic, or historically significant. And in the case of the 2007 Liberty dime, the errors present are so extraordinary and so rare that experts believe only a handful exist, making this coin almost one of a kind and driving its value sky high into the multi-million-dollar range. And to understand why people would pay such astonishing sums, we have to understand the psychology of collecting, because collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying history, rarity, mystery, and the thrill of owning something no one else can easily obtain. And when we speak of error coins, the more bizarre and obvious the mistake, the higher the potential value. And in the case of this 2007 Liberty dime, the combination of mint mark irregularities and striking errors is believed to have made it a perfect storm of desirability. Now let us take a closer look at the mint mark issue. Since the Philadelphia mint mark is represented by a P and normally placed very precisely on every coin, but in this case collectors report that the P is either misplaced, doubled, or distorted in such a way that it immediately catches the eye. And this is not just a minor scratch or blemish, it is a structural error from the mint itself, which adds immense value. And then there are other possible anomalies such as double dies where the coin shows duplicate impressions, off-center strikes where the design is shifted, planchet errors where the metal blank itself is wrong, and even edge lettering mistakes, all of which have historically commanded huge premiums at auction, but when combined in a single coin like this, the rarity is multiplied, and that is exactly why this 2007p dime is not just another collectible but an icon of numismatic rarity. And while most dimes are worth 10 cents in your pocket or perhaps a little more if they are silver dimes from earlier decades, this particular specimen leaped from spare change to multi-million-dollar treasure. So much so that collectors and investors around the world have been willing to compete ferociously at auctions, pushing the value up to $34 million, a record-breaking figure that has stunned even seasoned professionals in the coin world. And if you are wondering how such astronomical prices are possible, remember that collectibles often follow the rules of supply and demand, and when supply is close to zero, meaning almost no known copies exist, and demand is immense because every serious collector wants to own it, then prices can skyrocket into unimaginable territories, just like rare paintings or rare stamps. The same applies to coins, and this dime is proof of that principle. And another fascinating aspect to consider is the story of discovery, because coins like this are usually not found in treasure vaults but in ordinary pockets, change jars, or bank rolls, and stories circulate of lucky individuals finding such rarities in the most unexpected places, which fuels the imagination of millions of people who dream of one day making a similar discovery. And that is why videos like this matter, because they spread awareness and teach people what to look for, since most people would never imagine that a simple dime in their hand could actually be worth millions, and that makes the field of numismatics both exciting and profitable. And when we talk about era coins, we should also touch on the broader history of American coinage and the significance of the word liberty, because the image and inscription of liberty has been a central theme of US coins since the very beginning, symbolizing freedom, democracy, and the values upon which the nation was built. And this makes Liberty coins particularly meaningful not just monetarily but culturally and historically, which adds yet another layer of importance to this 2007p dime. And when you think about it, owning a coin that simultaneously represents the ideals of a nation and is also a unique minting era makes it both a symbol and a treasure, and that is why it has been called one of the most legendary coins of the 21st century. And now let us briefly consider what this means for everyday collectors, because if you are new to the hobby or just curious, the lesson here is that you should never ignore your small change. Always check the year, the mint mark, the condition, and any signs of doubling, misplacement, or off-centering, because hidden treasures might just be waiting in your wallet or coin jar. And if you ever happen to come across something unusual, do not dismiss it as a damaged coin but instead research it, get it authenticated by a professional grading service, and who knows, you might be sitting on a fortune, just like the lucky finder of this 2007p Liberty dime. And as we move forward in this story, we also need to emphasize the importance of authentication and certification, because in the world of rare coins where values can reach into the millions, counterfeits and fakes unfortunately exist. And that is why professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC play such a vital role in confirming the legitimacy of rare pieces and sealing them in tamper-proof holders, giving buyers the confidence to invest such huge amounts. And indeed, the 2007p Liberty dime worth $34 million has been authenticated and confirmed, which cements its place in history as a genuine treasure. And in conclusion, what we learn from this amazing story is that value is not always about size or metal content but about rarity, history, uniqueness, and human fascination. And that is how a small 10-cent coin from 2007 has risen to a value of $34 million, making it one of the most famous coins of modern times, and perhaps inspiring millions of people to start paying closer attention to the coins they encounter every day. Because the next time you hold a dime in your hand, it might not just be worth 10 cents, it might be your ticket to unimaginable fortune. And that is the magic of numismatics and the incredible story of the 2007p Liberty USA dime.